example, I've got a area measure. So this area measure, I can duplicate that, and just while I duplicate that, I can convert it to a volume measure. So rather than just measuring one a specific zone multiple times for different purposes like area, length, and volume, all I can do, I can just use one of my tools, for example, just even a markup like a cloud markup, and then I can easily convert that to an area. I can also duplicate and convert that to a volume, and I can just capture all the measurements and numerical values I want from there easily using just one kind of like markup, and converting it and duplicating it multiple times, which is a lot easier and a lot faster. Also, another aspect of Magic Markup is converting different tools from a tool chest. So imagine you've got a library of a lot of items within your tool chest. For example, an area measurements for different type of carpets or different type of floorings. So at some point within your project, while you're doing a takeoff, the material is changing. For example, previously we decided to measure an area for timber flooring measurement. Now we just decided to have the rooms rather than timber carpet. So instead of deleting all those markups or just going to the markup list and manually changing the label, we can easily go to our tool chest and pick out our specific markup tool, for example, from a timber to carpet, and just grab it and apply that to all those areas that were previously timber, so we convert them to carpet areas. And that sort of flexibility enables us to convert or change a specific area from one type of material to another with all those specifications and metadata saved within that tool chest. So all those calculations can be done automatically, and that's also another sort of approach to save time and streamline and make the software even more user-friendly. Now let's talk about some new features that we have added to Bluebeam, and they are Smart Review and Smart Overlay. So for those who are familiar with Bluebeam, we know that we have some features within program called Overlay, Compare, and they're very sort of powerful and useful. Many of our Bluebeam users, they really love these features. So I'll just give you a bit of background about these features before opening up a conversation around Smart Review and Smart Overlay. With Overlay that we had in previous versions of the software, like Core and Complete version, we could overlay one version of this floor plan on another in a different color, and we could just identify the changes. Also, we could just compare two plans, just compare version 1 to version 2, and software can just identify the changes from one version to another and just highlight or mark up all those changes. So those features are available in the software in Core and Complete version. Now with Bluebeam Max, with introducing Bluebeam Max, we are adding new features, and on top of those functionalities that they are also available within Bluebeam Max, we now have two new tools. One of them is called Smart Review, and the other one is Smart Overlay. So let's jump into these two features and explore them a bit further. So I'm going to start with Smart Overlay. So Smart Overlay is, again, Bluebeam Max feature. Is an AI-powered cloud feature available with the Bluebeam Max plans. It automatically compares two versions of a PDF drawing sets intelligently, and matching corresponding sheets using AI, and highlights the revisions directly in Bluebeam on web. So this sort of processing is happening on web, and all the data gets stored in Bluebeam Cloud portal. So one aspect of that is it works and it processes large drawings, especially if I have a very heavy document with a lot of plans and pages. Rather than running overlay on my machine locally, I can run overlay on the cloud, and that saves us processing and time, and we can focus on some other tasks while the processing is happening on the cloud. But there are other benefits of that is the fact that we can store the files on the cloud, we can the results on the cloud, we can share them. So if I want to share the overlay result with my project partners, I can easily just invite them to my cloud portal and they can access that. Also, Smart Overlay function creates a very sort of interactive dashboard that shows us exactly the all the original plans in red and all the new revision in green layout together, but also it creates a set, and that's the new function. So Smart Overlay pretty much creates a set for me, and within the set we can see the percentage of the changes and also the matches. So as an example on this slide here, you can see that a set is generated. So if your plan has mechanical, electrical, plumbing, architectural sites, and all the other sort of pages and plans, all of them, they get collected into their dedicated sets, and then it just try to find the corresponding on the new revision in version 2. And if there are some changes, it just give us how much percentage of matching we have. For example, if you see there are 100% or there is no difference, you can see that here. And also if you see, for example, 75% here, you understand that there have been like 25% change in the new version. So we get a sort of clear understanding of how much change we are experiencing or we are seeing in the new version of the plan in which set. For example, the mechanical hasn't been changed a lot, but in the plumbing area or in electrical light, we have had a significant change in the new version. And also we can store all the information on the cloud and share them. So this is a sort of a new technology that has been added to Bluebeam. But this one is new. Also, Smart Review. So Smart Review is a new feature also is added to Bluebeam Cloud, to Bluebeam Max. And it's an AI-powered feature that analyzes drawing sets to automatically identify design discrepancies, coordination issues, and missing information before they become costly problems. So this using this AI feature, we can scan batches of drawing sheets in Bluebeam on web to detect potential conflicts, architectural inconsistencies, and sheet number mismatches. The results are presented in the centralized analysis overview dashboard, making it easy to review and prioritize identified issues. So each finding is linked directly to its location within the drawing using cloud markups, enabling users to quickly investigate and resolve some issues. And also results can be exported as a PDF. So let's take a look at this feature. I just read the description of that, so now I just want to jump into that and explain that a bit further. Imagine that you've got a document, and those document has some sort of markups. It's got a schedule. It has a door tags and a lot of information. You can upload this plan in Smart Review portal, and exactly same as a Smart Overlay, that we just need to upload the plan in the cloud, and that command initiates from Bluebeam Cloud. So there's an icon in Bluebeam Cloud that you can just jump in back section, just jump a Smart Review and just add the document there, and the document get uploaded to our cloud portal, and the processing takes place. And from there, if there are some sort of issues with the plan, for example, there are some missing door tags, or there are some schedules missing, or some issues with the specifications, all of them get identified intelligently, and software automatically mark them up for us, and also give us some clearer description of the issue. For example, there's a missing tag in here, or the product or this sheet number is missing within the plans. For example, we are here referencing to a specific page. We need to refer to page A509, but that page doesn't exist. So so it marks it up for us and tells us exactly what that is. Or this door schedule is missing from the schedule list. So those sort of information all become available. So when we run a Smart Review, we can clearly find some sort of drawing mistakes or issues or some problems that exist, and then from there we can start just analyzing our plan. So Smart Review is becoming a very sort of a smart platform, intelligent platform down the track, by localizing it as per building standards of different regions, and it becomes a lot more powerful to identify and analyze the plans a lot more intelligently down the track and moving forward. Now let's take a look at the next one, which is collaboration with greater clarity, integration of studio session with Revit. This one is actually very interesting. It's pretty much my probably most favorite feature available in Bluebeam Max. We are pretty much bridging a gap between 3D to 2D using studio connected sessions. So I'm going to introduce that here. Studio session connected to Revit. So the Revit is as you know, is a modeling platform, 3D modeling platform that architectural designers use to create a model. And then from there we can generate PDF plans, and then probably we just send it up to Bluebeam to open up the PDF drawings, and we mark up, and we just communicate on the plan. But how are we currently communicating with the designer, with the Revit modeler? We just mark up on the plan in 2D, but we then have to transfer all the information back to a Revit designer manually. But this technology bridge the gap between 2D to 3D. Studio sessions connected to Revit helps bridge the communication gap between 2D and 3D. You will see Bluebeam markups automatically linked to the correct spot in Revit, in drawings, layout, and model view. Design teams can do less switching between products or screens and see markups in the context of their model, leading to more clarity and faster review times. So the way it works is that in our Revit model, we generate PDF plans within the region, and once we generate the PDF plans, we just send them off to Bluebeam. We open up the Bluebeam and we initiate a session, a studio session for seamless collaboration and communication between project partners who use Bluebeam and join the studio session. We can also invite a Revit modeler to join the same studio session, and then the Revit modeler join the studio session. And from this point, if I place over any kind of markups on my 2D plan, they all pop up in my 3D model in Revit as well. So Revit designer, they do not need to just jump into the plan in 2D, just see the PDF plan and see the markups and then try to find them in the 3D. All the markups, they appear in 3D, and then from there we are effectively communicating between 2D and 3D. So let's take a look at it from this way, that I received the construction drawings, as-built drawings, and now I just find some issues, or there are some inconsistencies, or I just want to place a request for some additional items, some design changes. All I need to do, I need to just jump into my studio session. I don't really need to have Revit. I can just use my Bluebeam to add some markups and say, for example, extend this wall or add a PowerPoint in this room. So all those sort of markups, they appear in the Revit model and in the 3D environment, and the Revit designer can see all those comments come up in the 3D model, and then they can make some changes straight away. And then after that, they need to generate a new PDF and send it off to the studio session as a new version. So that's kind of like a very effective communication. Also, we can change the statuses as well. So when we, as you know, we can define the statuses and upload them into Bluebeam Studio Session, and then when a modeler working on a plan, they can just go back and change the status in the design. The way it works is that I just raise a request for a design change within the studio session, and then when the Revit modeler makes some changes, at the end they have access to kind of like a markup is within Revit interface that it shows all the markups and also the statuses. So when a design change request comes up in a Revit model, a Revit designer makes some changes, they can go back and make some changes to the status. For example, the request for a change in the design has been completed, and that status also get updated in within the studio session. So we are communicating effectively using status changes as well. All right, so here I've got a video. I'm not sure if I've got access to play that in here. Yeah, I don't have the access to play the video, but I can probably explain on the plan. So as you see here on the left side, I've got my Bluebeam, and on the right side, I've got my Revit interface. So as I place over a markup in a studio session, that markup comes up in my Revit model as well, and all that sort of information. For example, provide water line for refrigerator, that markup appears in my Revit model as well. That markup also comes up in isometric view as well. So if you just look at your model from the ISO view, that markup sits flat on the surface, so we can clearly see that markup. And also it gives us a kind of like a sphere icon in here, so we can always click on that and expand it, very similar to the markups that we place over in a 3D model in Bluebeam when we open up a 3D PDF, for example. That's a very similar sort of approach available there. And then from here on the left side, you see there is a sort of like a markup list which is available within my Revit interface. So I can see all those markups comments there as well. And also there's a status change here. So if I just make some changes to the design, I can go back and change the status. For example, this one has been completed. So once I complete that one, then we can go back into our Revit and in our Bluebeam Studio, and we can see that the status change is happening live as well. All right, perfect. I think that's pretty much kind of like a quick or comprehensive overview of all the Max features and functionalities. Yeah, we can probably just jump into a few questions and just go through the questions. So feel free to ask your questions here. There are a few questions about migrating to Bluebeam Max. So if you're using Revu here, you can upgrade to Bluebeam Max. Please feel free to reach out to our partners in India region, and they are more than happy to assist you. So they can get back in touch with you regarding the different ways of upgrading. By the way, 21.2 version that you mentioned here is not the latest version of, no matter if you're on Max or if you're on the Core or Complete version, make sure you upgrade to the newer version, which is 21.10. So the 21.10 is the latest version. And then regarding upgrading it from Core or Complete into Max, feel free to reach out to our representatives, and they're more than happy to assist you with that one. There's another question here about can we have the recording of the session? I believe the recording will be shared with you post the session. Regarding showing some examples, we can share with you some resources and some workflows after the webinar. So definitely we can share with you some information and some of the videos of workflows for sure. We cannot, there's a question here asking, can we export report from Revit comments? So the Revit comments, we cannot export from Revit, no, unfortunately. What we can export is the status changes from Revit that happens within Bluebeam, and then we can export all the latest statuses from Bluebeam interface. So all the report export, they happen from Bluebeam. We can convert Bluebeam depending on your subscription. So there's also another question here, is it possible to convert Bluebeam to Max? So Bluebeam Max is a version of the software, is a new version. So if you're on other subscription packages such as like a basic, Core, Complete, or older versions, feel free to reach out, and we can definitely help you out to upgrade to the Max. There's another question here. Is there any updates on creating legends in Bluebeam Max? No, the legend hasn't been changed. I believe it's the same. So legend, just to give everyone here kind of like idea about legends, once we place some markups on the plan, or once we do some takeoff, we can create a legend very similar to a report or a schedule, but it is very live and interactive. We can place it on the plan, and it's very interactive. Once we make some changes to all the takeoff and measurements, all the data in the legend, they get updated. We can include a lot of information like the author or the space or areas, measurements like counts, and all the other information, they all come up in the legend table. It hasn't been changed, so Bluebeam Max has the same sort of legend functionality. There is nothing additional. But just it's something I just wanted to mention about legend, because many of our users, they really love it, and they just don't know about it, or they forget about it. But just feel free to look at it. So all you need to do, just select your markups on the plan, right click, and you can see the icon legend, and you can just create a legend table from that. There's also another question I've got here for MCP. Is Cloud Desktop mandatory to be installed in the system? Are there any other AI interface Max Cloud could use? There are other platforms that they can be used. I know some of our users in different regions, they practice the different AI platforms, and they have been able, because as I mentioned, like the technology that Bluebeam offers is MCP. So you can choose other AI agents like AI platforms other than Cloud to connect. And to answer your question, we need to have a Cloud desktop. So we need to install Cloud on our machine. In regards to the subscription, I use the free subscription of Cloud, but depending on your sort of usage, if you want to do a lot of tasks, you can also look at purchasing some additional tokens of Cloud or any other AI platform. That's definitely something outside of Bluebeam. It's just within the AI sort of subscription offerings. So there's a question here. Can multiple users mark up the same drawings simultaneously? Yes, that is possible, and that is within Studio Session. So a Studio Session, to just give you an idea, is that a Studio Session is part of Bluebeam, and it is available within Revu desktop software. So what we need to do, we just need to jump into Studio, log into our Studio platform, and then from there we can upload a plan to Studio. And then from there we can invite participants, and it's like inviting multiple users to one virtual room where project partners and participants can all access and open up one plan at the same time, and they can mark up on the plan simultaneously. So what happens is, for example, I've got my plan opened up, and at the same time my other user also open up the same drawing. If I place a markup, it pops up on the screen and they can see that what I'm doing exactly on the plan. It's just kind of like a very sort of simultaneous access and markup on the plan. That enables like our very sort of effective communication. We can talk together, we can respond to each other, we can mark up and just send the alert to each other. So we pretty much we are all on top of the latest changes and also markup communication across construction and plans and drawings and within studio session. All right. There are some other questions here. Some of them we might have to look at it later on because there are something that I probably need to practice. For example, can we expect multi-tool selection and do takeoff like 3 linear tools at once? I think Polyline can do that, but just maybe reach out if you need to investigate that further. I'm not sure if I understood your question quite well. Does Bluebeam Max link with CAD? No. Currently, Bluebeam Max is just linked with Revit, which is currently available, but I'm not surprised. I believe that there are some additional integration with other 3D platforms come up in the future, but currently what is currently available is just Bluebeam connected to Revit. That's the one which is available. So, but keep an eye. We all have new technologies coming up, so down the track we may have some additional integrations from 2D to 3D with other platforms. But as I mentioned, what we have available as Bluebeam Max is Bluebeam Max is connected from Studio Session to Revit. Can Bluebeam compare 2 drawing revisions and automatically highlight changes? Yes, that's possible. So the feature which does that is called compare. So basically you have the new version, and what we can do, we can just run a compare. So what Bluebeam does, it just compare first version to the second version, and if there are some changes in the second version layout, Bluebeam automatically highlight and mark up all those changes in the new version, and all those sort of markups that are automatically created, they all get recorded into the markup list. From there we can see all those changes, and if you just need to avoid some of them, or some of them they are minor changes, they're not necessary, we can easily just disregard them and we can focus on all those sort of important changes. There are different ways of looking at this functionality. One is just the basic level of this function, which is called compare. We pretty much can compare one plan to another. Sometimes you go to a new version and your new version has some additional pages, or there are some missing pages. So now we can, instead of looking at compare, there's the feature available in Max, which is called batch compare. So what batch compare does, no matter if you have some missing pages or if your pages in the new version, they're not exactly the same number of the first drawing sets, sorry, the first version, batch compare still can process comparing those 2 plans, and it gives you a report of the missing pages or some additional pages in a new revision, and also all the corresponding pages or the pages that we have had in the previous version and the new version in the new sets. Compare them and just mark them all those changes, and also it gives us a report of all the changes as well. So it's a very sort of powerful tool, and it is called batch compare. All right, there is also a question here: can Bluebeam perform area, length, count, and volume takeoffs directly from PDFs? Yes. So Bluebeam can scale the plan. We can scale the plan, and after we have applied the scale, there are some tools within Bluebeam to do area, length, count, and volume takeoffs. For the volume, we just need to define the depth or thickness, and based on the area that we measure, it just multiplies that to the depth or the thickness, and then it can calculate the volume as well for us. We can define the unit. All the information also get recorded into our markup list, and from there we can generate different type of reports. But all of them pretty much happens directly on the PDF plan. Can we identify issues in the drawing based on our checklist we have for the particular project? Not yet, but it is something that we are foreseeing as a sort of a technology coming up. But currently, no, not based on the checklist. All right, there are some questions here that we probably need to take them offline because there's a bit of information here that I just need to capture before answering these questions. I just don't want to give a sort of like a general answer. So we collect this information, and with these questions we can get back to everyone who asked these questions. Some of them I just probably need further clarification, but other than that, I think
Right. So So before we wrap up, I'd like to share one more exciting initiative from Bluebeam and Nemetschek India. If you are interested in continuing conversations beyond today's webinar, we invite you to join the Bluebeam user group, also known as BUG. We also have it for India's specific region. So it is a dedicated community for Bluebeam users and AEC professionals across India to connect, exchange ideas, share best practices, learn from industry peers, and stay updated on the latest developments in the Bluebeam ecosystem. And joining is simple and it just takes 2 steps. All you have to do is register on the Bluebeam community and join the India Bluebeam user group. So I'll be pasting the links here so you can just join as you're interested. Yes. So I've pasted the links in the chat itself. The first link is to register, and the second link is once you register into the community, you can join the India specifics community. So that is how it works. And so we look forward to seeing you there. And thank you, Yashar, for sharing your expertise and giving us an excellent introduction to Bluebeam Max. And thank you to everyone who joined us today and participated with your questions. We hope today's session has provided valuable insights into how AI can help improve construction workflows and project collaboration. And if you would like to learn more about Bluebeam Max or speak with our team, please feel free to reach out to us. We'd be happy to continue the conversation. On behalf of Nemetschek India and Bluebeam, thank you once again for your time. Have a wonderful day ahead. Goodbye, everyone.